Welcome back, mamas. Y'all, today we are going to go deeper into this intuition, into this knowing, into this place where you want more for yourself, but you don't know how to get there. And your body is likely telling you things that you aren't listening to. So I'm going to talk about how to check into that. And we're going to go a little bit deeper on what that might look like. Okay, so let's get to it. Do you wish you had control of your days, that you had a rhythm, but instead feel overwhelmed, scattered, and like there's never enough time? You're in the right place. I'm Danielle, a recovering workaholic, wife, and stay-at-home mom of 2 girls. I've learned how to reclaim my time and find purpose and freedom so I can be present with my kids and feel like myself again. Here, we embrace where we are, but we don't stay there. So if you're ready to trade the chaos for clarity, the guilt for grace, and the endless to-do list for aligned flow, grab the kiddos a snack and toss in that laundry because I know you're multitasking, and let's do this because your time, your purpose, and you matter. Okay, mamas. So on Tuesday, we talked about intuition, right? And how we know what we need. What is our truth? Like we've been talking all about this for the last couple of weeks and just really tuning into that. But how do we know? How do we know what that looks like? I was thinking back to a time when I was not listening to my body. I was not listening to my heart. I was not listening to my gut. I wasn't listening to anything. I didn't know what was going on with me. And so I just started doing, right? I was caught in the doing. I was caught in trying to fill this void. This little voice inside of me was telling me that there was more for me than just motherhood, but I didn't know what that looked like. And so I was grasping at all of these straws, just trying to do anything and everything that had always made me happy. I was happy to an extent, right? Like I had my kids, I had this stay-at-home mom role that I absolutely loved. But there was something missing that I didn't know what it was, and I couldn't figure out how to fill that little void, that place inside of me that was just speaking to me. And I didn't know how to figure it out. And so I just kept grasping. I kept going, and doing. And what wound up happening to me, y'all, was I wound up in the hospital. I wound up in the hospital. I don't know how long you've been listening to my podcast, but way back in my first episode, and I've mentioned a few times since then, I told the story about what happened to me and how it led to me really going on this journey to figuring out what was going on and to start eliminating things from my life because I was so burnt out that I wound up in the hospital. There was nothing wrong with me, by the way, but one day I woke up and I could not stand. I couldn't get out of my bed. I went straight to the floor. Everything would go black anytime I would try to stand. I crawled my way into the bathroom to go to the bathroom. I was just so nauseous. I tried to stand up, like I couldn't. It was everything I could do. I had to have my 5-year-old, 4 or 5-year-old at the time, I had to have her call my mom and have her come over. My dad wound up having to come over with a wheelchair to even get me to the car because I could not stand up, y'all. And guess what? I went to the hospital and they rushed me right back because when they tried to take my blood pressure, they thought something was wrong with my heart. Like the questions they asked me, I do not know why they felt like it was the fastest I've ever seen an ER person get checked through. And it was like they put me immediately in this room and started running tests on me. They wound up keeping me overnight on the heart floor. They couldn't get a blood pressure reading when I was there. Like they made me stand up to get the blood pressure reading and I couldn't stand. I would fall down like because I would black out. Like it was absolutely crazy. And they found not one thing wrong with me. Actually, they found one thing. I was low on potassium. So they gave me a potassium drip. That was literally, and the potassium like thing, it wasn't like I was like dying low of potassium. They were just like, you're kind of low on potassium, right? But what my body was telling me was that you are doing too much. Like you are not, I fully believe that it was God speaking to me. Like you have got to stop. Like Danielle, please stop what you are doing. Look at your life. Like you are overworking yourself. You are grasping at every straw. You are saying yes to everything. You are doing everything for everyone else and nothing for yourself. And it was one of those like wake up aha moments that led me down this path that took me a really long time to get there, y'all. It took me a really long time. Like I started pruning things out and cutting things back and trying to figure out what to do, but I had changed. I had changed. I was not the same person and I didn't know what to do with that. And so it took me like literally almost 2 years to figure it all out, to get all the pieces, to figure out what I needed to find and to find who I was. But my body knew it the whole time, right? Like my gut knew it the whole time. I'm going to start with this quote from Miguel Ruiz, and it says, also, go inside and listen to your body because your body will never lie to you. Your mind will play tricks, but the way you feel in your heart, in your guts, is the truth. The way we feel in our heart and in our gut, it is the truth, right? Like my mind was telling me that I should be happy, that all of these things, these shoulds, all of these things, like you will be happy if you just do this, like da da da. But in my gut, in my heart, I knew that there was something more and that it didn't look like this, but I didn't know what it looked like. And I didn't know how to figure out what that did look like or where to even start, y'all. I did not know where to start. And so I was just grasping at straws. But deep down, when I finally got still, when I finally checked in, when I finally did the work, which if you would know me, you know that I have like ADHD. So I didn't know I had ADHD until way later in life. Like I just figured this out a few years ago. And so I didn't know why I always had to be go, 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 but it is my ADHD brain. Like I don't like the still. I feel like I always have to be doing, I always have to be achieving. I always have to be, going, 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 right? And when you do that, you aren't being a lot of times. You're doing, but you're not being. If that makes any sense, you are not being, you are not checking into your gut and your heart. This took me a really long time to figure out. I was spinning my wheels. I wound up depressed, like beyond depressed. I didn't know where to turn. I had never known what depression was until I was in it, right? I had seen it from family members. I had seen it from people close to me. I never understood it. And when you're in that deep depression, it is something where you feel like you can never get out of it. It is not a choice. Like I was always like, can't you just choose to be happy? It was not a choice. I was choosing every single day to continue to get out of bed, but it was like everything I could do. I would drag myself to the bathroom mirror and say in the mirror, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I would say it over and over and over again until I believed it. And I knew in my gut something was missing and something was wrong, and I didn't know what to do. And so it took me years to figure it all out. Now, I did not get into that depressed place or stay in that depressed place for years. It was more a short for me anyway. It was this long journey getting there. And then once I was in it, I could not stand it. I was like, I could not continue this way. Like I have got to figure my way out of it. And I didn't tell anyone. I did not tell one single person because the thoughts I was having were so foreign to me and they were so scary to me that I was just shoving them down. I just kept shoving and shoving and shoving them down, pretending like I wasn't having them, taking myself to the mirror daily, telling myself these things that I needed to hear to even be able to keep parenting and keep going on and raising my children, y'all. It was a scary, scary time for me. But I thankfully had done all of this work on myself. I have always been someone who is always into self-development and growth. And I was able to take the steps that I knew I needed to get myself out of that and lean heavily into God and his strength because I knew I couldn't do it on my own and pull myself out of that, y'all. And what I want more than anything is to prevent you guys from doing that to yourself because I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to have that feeling, that knowing in your gut that there is something more, but not being able to figure out what it is or why you are feeling this way, or what can fill that void. And when you get really still, only you are going to know, right? But at least now I have the steps and what I've developed, this prioritize your purpose coaching, because I believe that if you are feeling called to something, if you are being pulled, if you have this knowing in your gut and your heart that there is more, this is your truth, right? And we need to figure out how you live that truth, because right now you are probably, if you're anything like me, you're just pushing it down. You're pushing the feelings down. You are thinking, I don't have time for this. You are thinking things like, I don't know if I can do that myself. I don't have enough time. There isn't enough time for me. Like, I am not worth this. Like, I have to pour myself into my kids, and I am not worthy of this type of self-care even. Like, I did not feel worth self-care. I'm like, I shouldn't be taking time away from my family and my kids and raising them and getting, paying a babysitter or pawning them off on my parents, or, any of these things that we tend to think that we're burdening others with. Or how can we take money from, I'm already a stay-at-home mom. How can I take money from our family to, let's say, pay a babysitter to watch the kids so that I can go to the gym, or so that I can get a massage, or so that I can take care of myself, doing something that fuels me, that is going to bring me some peace. Because it starts a lot of times with the checking in, with the getting still, with the getting quiet. And a lot of times you don't have that getting still or quiet time when you are in the middle of the chaos, right? It never gets to turn off. You are a mom 24/7, and that never gets to turn off, right? So I wanted to read another quote that says, take care. This is from Jim Rohn, and it says, take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. We need to take care of it. And when it's screaming at us is when I decided to take care of it, right? But when I've seen the quote before, it's like an unknown quote, but it says something like, if you listen to your body when it's whispering to you, you won't have to hear it scream, right? If you listen to your body when it is whispering to you, you feel it. You know in your heart, you know in your gut that you need something, right? You just don't know what it is. And so we have to tune in and get still and listen to it and figure out what it is that it needs from us, because it's trying to tell you. Dr. Phil McGraw said, you need to listen to your body because your body is listening to you. Your body is listening to you. And so the things that we are feeding it from our mind are affecting our body. And so a lot of times as mothers, we tend to beat ourselves up about things. We don't think we're doing good enough, right? Like, we don't think we're doing enough, whether it be, enough housework or enough to raise your children in a certain way, or you don't feel like you're giving them enough in terms of like maybe monetarily, like physical items, or maybe you don't feel like you're giving them enough, in the way of fun, like trips, or, things that you're not providing that you may see other people doing that you guys aren't doing. We put so much pressure on ourselves to do all of the things. And when we are beating ourselves up in our mind, our body is also listening. Our body is listening, and we are a lot of times neglecting ourselves so that we can take care of everyone else. And so I just want you to take the time to get still. Take the time to check in and see what you think your body is telling you, because it is most likely speaking to you. I want to end with one last quote here, and this one is from Giselle Bundchen. Giselle Bundchen says, the more you trust your intuition, the more empowered you become, the stronger you become, and the happier you become. And I believe that. The more you trust your intuition knows. We talked about that on Tuesday, right? If you did not listen to that episode, go back and listen. It is a good one. It is about listening to that intuition, and how when you do check into that, you become more empowered, because you will feel better about yourself when you are listening to your body, when you are listening to your gut and your heart and your truth, what you are wanting. If you are wanting more for yourself, if you are checking into that, even if you're in a place right now where you cannot take on anymore. And so you can't get that more that you want. Just checking in and figuring out what it is that you do need, just doing that work and knowing that you're taking steps towards being able to do that for yourself, that is going to provide that happiness. The happier you become, the stronger you become, because knowing is half the battle, right? And so when we get still and we check in and we know what we are going to do, even if we aren't in a moment where we can do it just yet, getting clear and doing that work is enough that it will send you on the right path. It will have you feeling that fulfilled feeling. A lot of times it's not even the destination, it's the journey where you have the most joy, right? I liken it to a big trip or a big goal or anything that you are working towards. Like the journey is half of the fun, right? The journey is a lot of times better than the actual destination that you reach, right? If you are climbing a mountain and you get to the top, it's amazing for that minute, but what was it along the way? Like it was hard along the way, right? Like, but looking back on it all, the journey was just as great as the destination, right? And so figuring this out for yourself is going to be hard work, but it's going to be worth it. It's the work that we do with Prioritize Your Purpose, my coaching program. It's the work that took me years and years and years to discover for myself. And I do not want you to have to go through that. And so I have developed this program specifically for you to be able to figure out what it is that you need in your life. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be what it was for me, right? Like it doesn't have to be this big dream and goal that I have. It can be something small. For everyone, it's going to look different, right? But if you're in that place of lack, if you are in that place of unsettled feeling, if you want more for yourself and you just don't know what that looks like yet, I promise you that this program will help you get there, and it will have you feeling that fulfilled feeling before you even reach the destination. And that is amazing. So prioritizewithpurpose.com. Check it out for yourself. I would love to walk through this with you. Just book a call there, and I will see you back here next week. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, Mama. If so, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and then hit share and send this to a mom who needs this in her day. I'll meet you right back here next week. Keep smiling, y'all.